Hey, Zion, how you doing?
No, how's it going?
Hot.
Do you know what? I'm going to do my makeup, do my hair. And I thought, I'll look like this after all of that effort anyway. What's the
Yeah,
point? It's so warm. How
got that.
are you?
You got that fresh Parisian glow about you.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I'd call it Berkshire, I don't know, blur.
But the first time I met you was backstage working with Luke Hersherson, and
Yeah.
we were frizzing, crimping hair,
Wow.
and yeah, and you helped us out, and you got us through. And then we just kept bumping into each other like quite a few different shows over Fashion Weeks over
Yeah.
the years, and yeah, no, it was a really nice. I always love meeting beautiful souls at Fashion Week because they are few and far between. You know, you meet lots of great hairdressers, but not everybody's, you know, caring,
Authentic,
beautiful. Like,
genuine.
yeah. But but it's there for everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
um, a lot of Fashion Week is can be a bit competitive and a bit one-upmanship, and whereas I enjoy it more when we're there for the team and to get the job done, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing I'll tell you about me is that I have a memory of an elephant. It's like one of my it's like a party trick. People will say Cinta, blah, 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 and they'll ask me something, and I just remember things down to the finest details. So, I actually remember meeting you, working with Luke Herston, totally. I remember bumping into you countless times as well,
Yeah,
during other shows and on other shoots that I've been on and stuff as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. When I very first got into this industry, all I ever wanted to do was work in fashion. I
yeah,
didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I wanted to work in fashion. I went to fashion college. I studied to be a designer. I did a whole entire fashion course. I got a distinction on my course. I got into St. Martin's.
well done.
Um, but at the very beginning, it was amazing, all the learning. But as soon as I started working in the industry, I very quickly disliked it because I realised that I thought I wasn't cool enough. I thought I wasn't skinny enough.
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of things that didn't do enough of. What I was too much of was I was too nice, I realised, and I was too sensitive. But my passion was always session. So then I started working in music, and I find that music is a really good middle ground because you're working with, you know, internationally famous people, but you're
yeah,
also being massively creative because they don't do ready to wear hair usually. It's
yeah.
always
No,
very,
it's
very extremely editorial. And then because of that, the whole fashion thing started knocking on my door again. I met the likes of John Vial, and he was like, wow, I really want you on my team. I met Luke Hersherson. I met Sid Hayes. And then just actually what I did was I met similar characters that I thought, do you know what? This is okay. I don't mind dipping my toe back into fashion.
mm,
And what I didn't realise is that I built up such a good reputation that designers and brands were coming to me saying, can you head this up? Can we? And I was actually getting asked to head up. And I made it a very, very big point that if I was to go back to fashion and lead, I would lead to the point where I would want everybody that works with me to feel important, to
mm.
feel capable, and to enjoy their job. And that's basically my mantra now in the industry.
I've been trying to express this through some of our other lives as well. Is this how to get through in a creative industry like this?
Yeah,
Is you you can't bring ego. It's not about. A lot of people think it's about ego and about being,
I think
elitist, and
I
actually
think
you get
one
a lot
rule
further.
I think one rule that everybody needs to remember in this industry or any industry, there is enough, especially now, there is enough work in this industry for everybody.
Yeah,
There is enough room for creativity for everybody.
one of the things I thought that we thought on what I would do with Crow's Nest, because before the pandemic it was more of a digital platform for trend reports, delivering backstage content, fashion week, leveling up hairdressers, you know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
giving
I
them
love
that.
the name, by the way. It's so apt.
Thanks.
It's wicked.
Yeah, I love the little play with it. I mean, obviously, my name's in there, but with it being the lookout point of a pirate ship as well. So it's like the crow's nest. So it's sort of we're looking out over fashion, and it was always like my ambition to deliver and educate this to hairdressers that aren't necessarily in London and don't necessarily have the access or the schooling that me and you had. And you know, it's that whole sort of sharing, give back thing. But then pandemic, you're like, wow, well that was pretty hands on, pretty face to face, go in, do this. And actually, well, we need to up digital services now. And my thought was, you know, social media was going to be huge in the next. If it wasn't big for people already, it's going to be big for everybody now. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be so important. And I think hairdressers and salons are going to have to, you know, really maximise what they're doing on their platforms, and especially Instagram. I think it's an amazing shop window for hairdressers and salons and brands.
Yeah.
And I really see the importance of people that being able to continue to tell your story to your clients, because especially as a hairdresser, the times are going to get tough, I think, over the next couple. People might not come as often. People aren't necessarily as local anymore, or you know, not doing as much traveling. So I really think you've got to maximise that window to keep people interested, keep them connected, keep them inspired.
As I said, I'm not technical. So at the beginning of lockdown, I was like, right, I'm going to learn how to be more technical. I'm going to learn how to edit a video. I'm going to learn how to do some retouching. I'm going to learn how to be a little bit more effective and dynamic on my social media, on things like Instagram. So I did, you know, I just looked through Instagram. There was so many free courses. I thought, you know, I'd be mad not to, you know, to take people up on their offer of doing, you know, dipping my toe into free courses. And it's funny, one of my friends, one of my best mates actually, she turned around and said to me, like halfway through the pandemic, she was like, no, everyone's so busy. Because I hadn't heard from her for a while. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, you know, everyone's so busy. Everyone just seems to be busy apart from me. And I went, no, nobody's busy. People have made themselves busy. That's the difference. We all have the choice.
Yeah,
now,
it's a choice, isn't it?
I could easily have gone, do you know what? I'm so busy all the time, Jason. I travel all the time. I never get to enjoy my own home. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit on the sofa and I'm going to watch Disney Plus every day. And then I'm going to watch every single box set. And then when I've finished, I might just, I don't know, watch everything again. But I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I got up every day. I did 10 minutes HIIT training every day until I broke my foot. But I then broke my foot. I dropped a dumbbell on it. And then I decided that I would do a couple of hours being active and engaging through work on social media. I then spent another couple of hours actually learning, doing online courses and webinars and stuff. So I would make sure that there was a period of time from 10 till 3 every day where I was being productive for my career, so to speak. And that was my responsibility. And I said to my friend, you always moan, you always look at my, you're like, how have you got that many followers on social media? And I haven't, because she actually does makeup and beauty as opposed to what we do. And she says, how comes you've got so many followers and I don't? I'm like, it's called engagement. It's called engaging with other people. I'm like, you can't just take a picture and post it up and write nothing. Learn social media. It's your responsibility. So I think some people got it and some people didn't. I'm a brand ambassador for Raccoon hair extensions. And again, I just called the owner, Sue Davenport, and said to her, look, you know, I'm contracted to work for you X amount of days a month. I'm great. I'm better than other people in the company at social media. What do you want me to do? You know, I'm still kind of contracted to these days. How about I do live view every morning?
Nice.
And she was like, that's great. So I did an Instagram live every morning for Raccoon. It's called Coffee with Raccoon. We did it, it's like coffee morning. And I spoke to other people in the industry. Spoke to a leading hair trichologist. So we talked about, you know, problematic hair, you know.
It's funny, I mean,
like,
I did see those, but you never got anyone on from Crow's Nest.
do you know what? We'll do a second series and I'll have you on.
Where does your honesty and accountability sort of come from? Like, was it brought up like that as a kid, or is it, you know, have you learned it as getting older, reading books?
As a kid, I was a right little toe rag. If you want to know the truth, I was a right little toe rag. But if I'm honest, it comes from my mum.
Okay.
My parents are Italian. Unfortunately, my biological dad passed away when I was really small. So my mum was on her own with 5 children. And my mum ruled with a rod of iron. Literally ruled with a rod of iron, but was also the most loving, generous, caring person you'd ever met. But she was also no nonsense. So if I ever told a fib, I would be that kid that would go to bed and I wouldn't sleep because I'd be too scared of getting caught. I remember once my friend lost a tenner. It was like birthday money. She lost £10 and she was too scared to tell her parents. So I gave her like one of my jumpers so she could tell her mum and dad that she bought this jumper with this £10 because we were too scared about saying it. I then was too scared and lost complete night's sleep because I was like, oh my God, where am I going to tell my mum my jumper's gone? So I had to go down and was like, Claire, we've got to tell the truth. But it definitely comes from my mum. My mum was very much, do you know what? Just be black and white. If somebody doesn't like you, they don't like you. You know, but you just got to stay true to yourself. But it was really reinforced coming into the industry. I saw a lot of people that were disingenuine. And I thought, as I said to you, I'm quite sensitive. So there was a few occasions where you get promised the world, or I'd love you to do this, that, and the other, and you can come be with this, and then it's, oh, sorry, we've chosen somebody else, or we really want you to come and do this, and it's like, oh, sorry, chosen someone else, or oh, we're all going here, there, and the other, and you don't hear from people, and that used to really affect me, and I'd be like, what I can't control is other people's behaviour, but I can control my own. So I never ever want anybody to end up feeling how I was made to feel. So that's where it comes from.
I'm thinking, like, I don't know whether we must have met before that show, because because I was Tony and Guy as well around that same era.
What Tony and Guy did you work at?
I worked in Cambridge. This is when I was in Cambridge, but I used to come down to London quite a lot.
Larry, he worked at Tony and Guy in Cambridge.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he must have been before my time.
That's where he started.
Wow, he must have been just before me then. I didn't know that.
So he started Tony and Guy Hertford, then he went to Cambridge, then he came to London. But I was Marylebone High Street in Sloane Square.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, I had a great time in that. But I know, like, because I know Effie and stuff. Well, she was an art director. So were you still there when she was an art director? So by the time I knew Effie,
I left by that point. So Effie and I were actually juniors together. We used to sweep the academy together. Yeah. So we were that era, and then we both qualified, and I got put in Sloane Square, and then I kind of did my time at Sloane Square, and actually my session work started kicking off even then. So I was kind of itching to leave before I'd even.
But it was such a good schooling and an avenue.
Oh my God, the best
for session as well. I mean, and that was my first inspiration for Crow's Nest. Really, was like after Tony and I is such a complete bubble, and has all these avenues to like Fashion Week and photo shoots and stuff. But it's so like insular as well that like you think that's the world because it covers everything. But then once you step out, you're like, wow, there's like this whole other like mad wide industry. And actually, but then I realised there's like all these other hairdressers are missing out on so much knowledge and education that Tony and Guy provide within that bubble. Yeah, I kind of fancy getting back into a bit of music stuff. I want to do a bit more grooming, I think.
Yeah.
I do a lot of grooming, but I just kind of fancy just a couple of guys, keep it nice and simple.
Who have you worked with, or who have you been working with?
Nobody for 4 months.
Myself?
Yeah. You know, I did my own hair last week. No, I mean, it was really slow for 4 months. I mean, I was doing a lot of actors before, I think, and I don't know. I prefer music because I think there's more creativity going on in the vibe, like the whole production and producing a video, and It's cool. I mean, celebrities and actors are great, but there's nothing else going on around, you know. Whereas like a music
well, I would
video,
say,
it's the end
as I
product.
said
There's
to you
that
before,
tangible thing at the end.